Remy, the Vice Chair of the East African University. Mine is on what you have said about the private universities. For example, let me give you a case of myself. I studied in the village a day school. Let me recognize the school St. James Kiarida. At that time, when I managed to get a C+ to join the university, but when I was going to apply through the COOPs, my C+ could only admit me to a private university. So you find most people, the cluster point is high for the public universities. And yet, they will be, when they are going to apply, they will be placed in the private universities. And you have said you can't offer the scholarship. Right now, for me to pay the 19,000 that I'm paying in the private university I am, my parents are really struggling. That is for a fact. What if that parent of that student in the same case as mine, who is in a day school, is going to pay the same 80,000, 90,000? With that student manage, that the student can't manage because the cluster point for the public university are that high. So what are you going to do about the cluster point? And then I'll go to question on the burden. We say, for example, a Maasai who stays at Narok. That person owns 100 cows. When I'm going to apply for that as where I studied in a day school, I'll be placed in band 1. Under 100, you sell that cow for 50,000. The net worth of that person is 5 million. And that person will be placed in band 1. Reason being, the person is from the Maasai. They are known for those people who doesn't have, sorry to say that. Sorry to say that. And yet, when that person doesn't have a KRA to feel about the parent when applying for the help or whatever. And yet that person net worth is 5 million. And that person will be placed at band 1. And then there's a case, someone from JQuad said that person is earning 25K. Are we fair on that? Yes, that is my question. On the cluster point and the...
Thank you. Thank you, Karemi. I think we give this chance to a gentleman.
Thank you so much. I'm Vincent Tarus, the president Moi University, and I'm also a finalist doing medicine and surgery. Okay, thank you so much. Number one, Mr. President, I'm really not happy at how we were discussing figures of expensive courses. Yes, it's true that the government is paying a lot for students doing the expensive courses, but we also have to look at it from the student side. And these are the figures. I'm going to use figures for a student doing dentistry. And of course, with these figures, you could estimate those who are doing medicine, engineering, and all those expensive courses. A student in band 1, the one who is very vulnerable, is going to pay 39,000 shillings. Remember that at the moment, we are paying less than that. We are paying 32,000, 33 up to 40, and now a student in band 1 is going to pay 39,000. My cue, the conception of the new funding model is on the basis of assisting the poor. Number 2, a student in band 2 is going to pay 78,000 shillings. A student in band 3 is going to pay 156,000. A student in band 4 is going to pay 234,000. And a student in band 5, 312,000. Now, already we can see and have the impression that expensive courses, or rather, the courses that are expensive to offer will only be for the rich. Because we can all agree that a student in band 2, band 1, band 3, and band 4, they are all poor. Now, who are going to afford these courses? Mr. President, when we had a meeting at State House, you said that you're going to put a ceiling over which the vulnerable are going to pay. Yes, that is only going to sort those who are in band one. I'm assuming it will be way less than 39,000. Now we have sorted those ones. What about the majority? Because, Mr. President, the majority of students are in band 4 with a figure of 47%. If I can use figures of last year's group. These are the figures I got from HELB, that of 113,000 students who applied, 47% are in band 4. And I can use as a case in my school, Mr. President. We have students who, up to now, they were just allowed to do the exam without paying fees. But really, the truth is, they won't be able to pay these fees come end of year examinations. And what will be the fate of schools that we are so much trying to salvage? We are going to have so many dropouts, Mr. President. And these figures I'm using is for the School of Dentistry. Now we have the School of Engineering and the School of Medicine, the School of Nursing. I thank you, Professor, for the figures. But the figures are too high. And this dream is only going to be for the rich. Now, Mr. President, because we value consultation, I'm going to propose an affirmative action that we have to scrap off the idea that these courses are for the rich. If these courses were for the rich, Mr. President, I don't think you'll be standing there where you are right now. And I don't think all these dignitaries will be seated there where they are right now if these courses were for the rich. Now, allow me to propose an affirmative action that we give more scholarship to these courses so that everyone can be able to afford. The children of the peasant farmers, the children of the poor, the mamamboga, that this administration was built in, allow us to have something, allow them an ability to dream of these courses and pursue them. The issue of loans, Mr. President, that has been spoken about enough. The reason why we are rejecting this new funding model, Mr. President, is because we feel the burden of loans on our backs at the moment. I could only imagine those who would join after us and the generations to come. Yes, you said, Mr. President, that it is better to have loans and educated than not having loans and educated, and not having loans and non-educated. But those are not the two options that we have, Mr. President. We can have a discussion of how we can balance both so that we can come up with a system that values everyone, a system that accommodates everyone. And until then, Mr. President, allow me to reject this new funding model respectfully.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tarus. I don't know. Let me answer those questions. I think they are quite a buffet.
Mr. President, I've been given one last concern. Okay, it reads,
yes.
Please, okay, the issue of student independence and admin stepping on student leaders. I think this is addressed to all our vice chancellors, the management of our schools. Kindly allow student leaders to run the activities with the autonomy that they deserve. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tarus. Let me start with the Mungezi from Moranga University. I think, yeah. She suggested that why don't we consolidate all bursaries? The ones for the MCA, Member of Parliament, Women Rep, Governor. Somebody suggested that I have some bursary. I don't have